Film Pulse is supported by the kind donations from listeners like you. Please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmpulse for just $1 a month and help keep the podcast on the air. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 264. My name's Adam Patterson. Today I'm joined by Kevin Rakestraw. How goes it, Kevin?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well.
All right.
I apologize in advance if anybody can hear any kind of background music taking place this episode. Right before we started recording, someone, I believe, started a concert outside. I don't really know. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how I can hear it. I'm pretty high up in my apartment building, but that's what's happening. That's the reality I'm living in. Random concerts taking place.
Sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. No, not in this situation. No.
Oh.
This week on the show, we'll be talking about It. The new It.
That's right.
So that's pretty exciting. We'll also be going over some we've been watching on the watch list and new releases on VOD, Blu-ray, and in theaters. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think we can safely go ahead and start things off with our review of It. This is directed by Andy Muschietti. I have a synopsis here. A group of bullied kids band together when a monster, taking the appearance of a clown, begins hunting children. Now, if you've listened to any episodes of the show recently, I've been dying to see this movie. I had a feeling I was going to love it, and guess what? I loved it. So we'll get that out of the way right off the bat, and we'll start it with you, Kevin. What did you think of It?
I thought there was like segments of this that are really good, that I thoroughly enjoyed. And then there's some other aspects of it that I thought were just kind of mediocre on the whole. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the horror stuff I thought was kind of mediocre. But the actual I thought it got the whole the vibe of just like the kids hanging out and being a ragtag group of kids. I thought that's where it excelled. Because I thought there was a lot of humor there, which really worked. A couple really good performances from some of the child actors. And I got to say that I think that was my favorite part of it, that whole aspect.
Sure. I mean, in movies like this that are really effective, that's always the thing that kind of ties it all together, right? That's sort of the linchpin of movies like this that are successful. I think that's when you look at something like Stranger Things or even Super 8, getting out of the horror territory and going into sci-fi with that one. I think the thing that ties that show and that other movie together is the kind of camaraderie you have with the ensemble cast of characters.
It hinges on that.
Right. It's like it's like a horror version of Stand By Me, another Stephen King property. It's definitely, it has that vibe. And for me, that's also my favorite aspect of it as well, as I knew it would be. But I thought that the horror elements, for me, were very effective. I liked almost all of the horror sequences. If you're not familiar with it, if you haven't seen read the book or seen the original miniseries on TV, basically it's this sort of entity that feeds off of fear. It feeds off of the fear of children, and it'll try to eat them. Basically, it'll
just devour them.
It draws power from their fear, and it shows up once every 27 years, and it's up to these kids to stop this evil being from taking any more of their friends and devouring them. So when you have a plot like that, they're allowed to kind of have fun with it. So you have each of this really great ensemble. I thought all the kids did a great job in it, and each of them have their own specific phobias and fears. And so throughout the movie, you have these sequences where they're all doing their thing and they all each have their own fear. So you have these kind of tailor fit scare sequences for each of these kids. It was like that in the miniseries as well, and I liked most of them. I thought that most of them were pretty clever. The hair one with the girl was,
Oh, that one was nuts.
yeah,
I think that was the best one.
yeah. Some of them, I will admit, are a little generic. The one with Ben, his was a little generic, although the scene with the I don't want to give it away, but there's something chasing him down the stairs towards him. I thought that was really creepy. And I think what we'll do is maybe go into a little bit of a spoiler discussion at the end of this review, and we'll go ahead and put the time code in the show notes and give fair warning before we get into it. So we'll keep everything very spoiler free for the beginning part of this.
All right.
I thought Bill Skarsgård was pretty creepy as Pennywise. I was interested to see how he would be as Pennywise. If you remember, Tim Curry played Pennywise in the original miniseries. And
I don't remember that. I've actually never seen any It's or read the book. I don't know anything about It.
Well, there's only one It, so it was just the TV series. Okay. That was it.
All right.
There's no other movies or anything. Well, now you know. Tim Curry played him, and now Bill Skarsgård's playing him. And I thought he was. I think that they both brought their own. They both brought their own little spin on it.
Right.
I haven't seen the original It in many years. I was gonna go back and rewatch it for this, but I had time constraints. But I do plan on watching it. I might watch it after we're done recording this, actually. But I thought Bill Skarsgård was pretty great. Really creepy. The character of Pennywise. Ugh. Oh God.
Well, I mean, it's kind of easy. It's a clown.
Sure.
Clowns are just creepy.
Absolutely. They're inherently creepy, but when you look at when this originally came out, I'm not sure that the whole creepy clown thing was really in vogue. I don't know if it was as omnipresent as it is now.
Oh yeah. No,
I think that maybe
so.
I think that maybe it was one of the things that made clowns creepy.
Well, I think it probably more so brought people out of the shadows, kind of gave them the courage to say, like, yeah, clowns are creepy. I've been thinking that for years.
Yeah. So the scare moments really worked for me. The dialogue I thought was really good. It was really funny. Especially the kid from Stranger Things. He plays, where is he? Henry? Is it Henry? No, not
Richie.
Henry's
Richie?
the bad guy. Richie,
Good old Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard, yeah. I thought he was really funny in it. I like that they kept the humor very adult. These are kids, but they didn't tone down the dialogue for these kids. There were lots of F-bombs being dropped all over the place. And the thing that kind of surprised me about this movie is how dark it gets. They're not shy about showing us some really grisly imagery in this movie.
Yeah, it was
that was a surprise.
Yeah, and it kind of made that statement early.
Oh yeah,
because that kind of caught me off. I didn't
right from the beginning. I
didn't really think it was gonna be that gruesome.
It's things get pretty serious in this movie.
Yeah, it sure does. Because there was one scene in particular that kind of went somewhere where I wasn't quite sure it was gonna go, but it went there, and it full on went there.
Yeah,
like full on, which I was not really prepared for. That was fucked up sequence. I think that was the creepiest thing for me was the TV.
Oh yeah.
When the first time it shows up, it's just kind of like it's not really like a center focus.
Well, no, because you don't even see, you kind of see it in the background. It is a little bit, off frame, but you hear it.
Yeah.
And if you could easily even just miss it as you're watching that scene, that the first time the TV plays a part, you could easily just not pay attention to that happening in the background.
Because the character didn't even acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a nice move.
I thought the cinematography was pretty excellent. There were several flourishes in this that I thought were really effective. Again, going back to the hair scene, the way that they shot that, like through the hair
Oh man, yeah,
I thought that looked awesome.
that was a great blood geyser too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fucking,
Got to be careful. We don't want to talk about. Don't want to get into it too
I mean, but
much.
that sells it right there. If you're on the fence about seeing it, blood geyser. Just a
Yeah.
heads up.
Chung Hoon Chung did the cinematography for this. You may know his work from the original Old Boy and Stoker and Handmaiden. He's basically Park Chan Wook's DP.
There you go.
So a lot of really good camera work in this, a lot of creative camera work, which was also a little bit of a surprise to me because I thought that it would just take kind of a standard approach to the cinematography, and I thought that they did some really interesting things.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising in a couple aspects. Number one is that like how gruesome it actually was, how adult it was, and then you're right to like the cinematography. I was kind of expecting like when I went in, I thought that this was just going to be kind of like a ho hum, kind of like a everything else style
Yeah,
horror that ends up at the multiplex.
well, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't certain. I like towards the end, when they go to the well house. To me, that's where it kind
Yes,
of nosedived a
yes.
little bit because it just kind of turned into like this haunted house type deal.
I mean, I get why you may think that and why you might have that opinion, but for me, it seemed like that's the arc that this should take. Like this type of story should they should go there with it. They should have a big, crescendo at the end, a big culminating scene, a big battle, if you will. I mean, because that's what happens in the story, and that's the path that these types of movies take. So I wasn't entirely disappointed with how that went down, especially how that all played out at the end. But what I want to talk more about you not thinking that the scary moments were effective or mediocre.
I
What
think
was some more like? Was it like specifically like some of
was
the
like
specific things didn't work for you, or you didn't find them scary, or
I just thought that they were kind of I don't know. I mean, I just kind of like a bit too familiar. Like you said, Ben in the library. Now, I enjoyed the way that it started out. Like every time that he was flipping through the pages, it would cut to behind him, and there's just that lady standing there
mm-hmm,
in
mm-hmm.
the background. Like that's creepy. I liked when it did that kind of stuff. But then and then the balloon floats by. That was great and everything. But then it turned, there's like you said, the guy with the comes down the stairs and chases him, and then what was the other kid? Eddie, when he saw like the zombie leper thingy, that guy that just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like chases him. It's just like a
Yeah,
lot
but
of chasing stuff.
yeah, there's a lot of like kind of close quarters chasing, which to me is really creepy. Like all the scenes where Pennywise shows up and then chases them, it's always very short distances, so it's almost like he's lunging at them. And to me, I found all of that stuff to be really suspenseful. And then there's a lot of kind of set pieces where they'll cut to Pennywise just looming and being really creepy, like the one that you mentioned with the leper. There's a scene, it cuts to Pennywise and he's just kind of hanging out in the background with this like reverse pyramid of balloons just hanging out
Yeah.
there. And it all just worked for me. I thought it was all, I mean, obviously not all of the scares are as strong as some of the others, but for the most part, I thought that they were all pretty inventive. Even if like the base level, like the thing that happens, for instance, the leper, sure, it's just a gross guy chasing the kid, but I thought that there were enough accents to it to make it more enjoyable
Mhm.
and more
I just
creepy.
it just felt a little bit redundant because you have the gross guy chasing Ben, then you have the gross leper chasing the kid, then you have like the I don't know like some sort of gross kids chasing the uh the guy, the teenager when
Yeah,
they're like when they're in the sewer.
the
It's
guy
just a
from
bunch of gross people chasing people.
it's the guy from Bloodline.
Bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the two strongest for me were the Beverly, because her sequence was not a gross person chasing her. I thought that was pretty great. And then, oh my God, I'm already drawing a blank on what the other one was.
Which one? The main character?
No, because his was kind of bland too.
Well, his
Except when they kept doing the "You'll Float Too."
yeah, well that's from the trailer. So that one
Yeah.
was not entirely unexpected. There's also a scene that you see a little bit of in the trailer, the slideshow scene.
Oh yes, that's the one.
That
Oh man, when he
that was one of the best scenes for me. That was so intense, and where it goes, I didn't expect it to go. I mean, you see part of that in the trailer, so you know that there's going to be at least this one part, but then it goes further, and it hits a level that I did not expect at all. So that was
and I
really
did
impressive
love the
to
way
me.
that they did that.
Yeah, it looked awesome. What did you think about the '80s aesthetic?
I mean, outside of a couple of things that it didn't really have, which is kind of nice. It's actually kind of refreshing because to me it didn't feel that 80s, except for the Richie's mom and her ridiculous outfit.
Yeah, there was a New Kids on the Block joke
Yeah,
in there, which I thought to me that worked. I didn't think it was egregious or anything. I thought that it fit. Of course, these kids are going to be into pop culture things,
it
so
was just
it'd be
it
weird
was
to not have them in there at all.
yeah, but it was nice because to me at least it didn't seem obnoxious like
No, I didn't think it was
everything
obnoxious
else
at all.
that we've seen over the last how many years.
Well, and the other thing is the soundtrack. So, like in a lot of these movies that are set in the '80s, you have a very prominent like '80s pop soundtrack, and for the most part, there were certain songs. I think there was a Cure song in there at one point.
Yeah,
But for the most part, it keeps it to an original score, which I thought the score in this was quite good.
yeah, I think that was really nice, refreshing that it wasn't obnoxiously 80s.
And I think that it's
Goodness.
cool that they set this one in the '80s. The original miniseries was set in the '60s, and then they jump forward to the grown up characters, and that's like in the '80s. So I guess
Okay.
in this one they're gonna set it in the '80s for the first part, and then the next part is gonna be modern
Oh,
when they're adults. So cool.
I think they should have to wait 27 years to
Yeah,
film it and fill it with the same cast.
that'd be awesome. They did
I would
like
love
a
that.
like a Boyhood type thing.
Yeah, they should. That's how they should do it. Do it right.
Don't think that's gonna happen, but I think it would
I
be.
mean, if you're going to do it, don't half-ass it. I want full commitment here.
Speaking of not half-assing it, the bullies in this movie,
Jesus Christ!
they
Like
were extreme bullies. Holy shit!
what? Which does feel like kind of 80s, like 80s movies.
Oh yeah,
The bullies were always, which never felt real because you're just like someone in the. It's a small town.
yeah,
Someone should be like, man, these kids are fucking crazy.
yeah.
Someone
Like
needs to reel them in.
they're not just like pushing kids around and stealing their lunch
He
money.
fucking
Like,
carves a kid.
yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah. These are like seriously violent, sick individuals.
Plus, I gotta say, I love Ben. I love the fact that that kid was just a beast. Like,
Yeah,
he gets carved. No one takes him to the hospital or anything. He just like patches it up.
he walks
I
that
don't
shit
know.
off.
Yeah, but you know that like 2 days later, all that shit would have been infected. But it's not. I don't know if he's Wolverine or what. Because then he gets slashed later. He doesn't do it. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
He's almost disemboweled. And he's just like hanging around in a circle.
Well, I like how they even comment on it too. Like,
Yeah.
because at first I was like, are they not gonna like address it? He looks seriously injured, and then Richie was like made a comment about it.
But still then, even when he points it out, not one kid goes, shit, like this is serious. We need to get him to a hospital or something. Even when the mom comes and picks up the other, she doesn't care.
No,
You
but
can see that shit when you get out of the car. Poor
yeah, but
Ben.
she's clearly crazy. She has that I can't remember what it's called, that mental illness.
Is that Munchausen?
Munchausen's
I think
syndrome?
that's Munchausen.
Yeah, I think it is, where you keep your kid sick all the time.
But I don't know. It seemed like he actually had asthma. So maybe he actually did have shit.
The asthma seemed real, or maybe he was just like having anxiety. I don't know.
But man, Ben just, I mean, he just takes care of himself, I guess. I don't know how he healed so quickly
Ben's
for
a
everything.
trooper. He's a trooper. Well, they did show like after he did get cut the first time. They showed him later, and he had the bandage on, so he
Yeah.
was still at least had it covered up.
Still,
Of
but
course,
that needed stitches. That you just don't put a fucking gauze on it and it's gonna heal up. That needed
Well,
stitches. He got carved.
maybe that comes back to bite him later. Maybe he
He
has
doesn't
trouble
make it to
later on.
27 years. He dies 2 weeks later from a staph infection.
It could be, especially because they swim in that
Yeah,
lake or whatever
He's
right
got-
after.
he's got all sorts.
Parasites.
Where are the
Parasites.
fucking parents? That's what I want to know. Where are the goddamn parents?
Well, we see several of the parents.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, they're all terrible for the
Yeah.
most part.
And that's part of the story, is that a lot of the home lives of these people are a little rough, to say the
Yeah.
least. And I'm glad
Which-
that they take the time to explore that with each of the characters. I mean, there's a lot of characters in this movie, and I felt like they did a good job of fitting everybody in and giving us backstory on all of these characters.
Yeah, it just felt a little like Beverly's situation is like super dark, like darker than the actual killer clown thing.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
And compared to everyone else, where it's just like sweet Jesus.
Well, not everybody can have an equal level of darkness in their home lives. Some people are going to be
It's just
better off than others.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. That kind of struck me. Whereas like she's handling well, and I mean I guess that maybe speaks to why she wasn't really afraid of anything, which
Yeah.
was the only thing that kind of didn't really make a lot of sense to me with the whole like
The fear thing?
yeah, because I don't know. Maybe that's spoiler territory.
Yeah, let's save it. Save it for some spoilers.
But we'll circle back.
Any other elements you want to highlight before we talk about some spoilers?
To me, the kid that played Eddie was the best. With just the way he freaked out, I thought he did a really great job of freaking out constantly.
Yeah, I thought
Anytime.
Eddie was good. I thought all the kids were good, and you know me, I'm really hard on child actors for some reason, and none of their performances bothered me at all. I thought they all did a really good job. I mean, I thought that Finn Wolfhard was maybe my favorite character, just because he played the comic relief, but I thought that he was genuinely funny. I thought almost everything he said made me laugh. But I also liked Ben, the character of Ben.
I think I'm gonna go with Eddie as my MVP, and then Bev.
Yeah, I mean, she was great. She was awesome.
She just, I mean, when she just pops up out of nowhere, that like what was that? Like a spear type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, that was awesome. Were there any moments that made you jump? Did any of the jump scares land for you?
Nah.
There was one scene that made me jump, and it was the scene when the character of Stanley was in his dad's office, and the frame, the painting fell off the wall.
Mm.
And it happened off camera too, so you didn't see it fall. You just heard it fall.
It's the sound. It's just the sound.
Right.
Just
That made me jump for some reason. Even though I knew that it was very clear from the moment he walks into that office that something's going on. For some reason, that one got me. None of the other moments got me. That being said, I didn't feel like there were too many cheap jump scares in this. I thought that most of the scare moments were earned, and
yeah,
I liked almost all of them.
They were pretty light on the jump scares, but I mean, with that in mind, it's like, why not just eliminate all of them? It's
Well,
clear you're trying
because
to go
jump
for
scares
something
are
else.
fun. It's the fun factor.
Ain't fun. It's just loud noise.
But that's part of the fun. You go into a theater environment. You're in this room with a bunch of people, and they're all like screaming and jumping, and it's it's a fun thing to do.
Which I shouldn't get off base here, but this fucking town, I'm telling you, goddamn people at the movie theaters, just straight up talking the whole way through.
Yeah, I
Just
was gonna.
chit chatting.
Yeah, at the end of this review, I was gonna ask you about your theater experience, as I like to do anytime you go to the movies.
It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, we always try to make it a point to go to the earliest showing possible because that's the best chance of having a light crowd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we weren't able to because we had so much work to do. So we get to a later one, and oh my god. I mean, people want to talk about like, oh, should people be allowed to use phones in a movie theater? Fuck that. Just get people to shut the fuck up. Like, I don't care if you're looking at your phones. At least you're quiet.
I feel your pain, although I don't want people looking at their phones because if they're sitting in front of me, like a couple rows down, and I can see their phone, it is extremely distracting to me. But yes, I will agree. Talking should not occur in the movies.
People having like a full-on conversation.
That's ridiculous.
Just talking.
Like why? We've talked about this so many times. We will probably continue to have this conversation. I don't understand people spend money to go see a movie and then just talk through it baffles me. I don't understand.
And once again, was it millennials? No, it was not. It was middle-aged people.
I noticed that it's like a lot of older people. I mean,
at least around here, it's always older people. There's never once been a teenager or a 20-something. Never. It's always older people.
Yeah. I had a good movie experience. My screening, I went to see it in the Dolby Theater, so had a really great picture, great sound. Everything was adjusted perfectly. Nothing was too quiet or too loud. Picture was brilliant. Light crowd. There was maybe like 15 people in my screening.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was.
More.
Yeah, it was surprising. But the theater that I go to, the Dolby Theater, it's at AMC in Times Square, and for some reason, those theaters are never that crowded ever. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe it's because if you want to go see it at the Dolby Theater, you have to pay more. It's like $23 for a ticket, even on like a matinee screening. So maybe that keeps people away. But for me, it's like if a movie's playing at that Dolby Theater, I'm definitely going because I think it's like the best movie going experience. So, all right. Before we get into spoilers, let's give this a score. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Damn.
I loved it.
Damn. I thought you would. I'm going to go like, oh man, like a 6.5, like skirting with a 7. Skirting.
Okay. All right.
Shimmying up to a 7.
I don't feel like you've justified that score enough for me to be satisfied, but we'll move on and talk about some spoilers.
All right. Call me out and then move it on. I mean, if you want to call me out, you got to come straight at me.
Come at me, bro.
Don't call me out.
Well, we can discuss. We're going to discuss it more right now and spoil it.
Shuffle to a different subject.
So if you have not seen the movie yet and you do not want to be spoiled, just skip ahead. We will have the time code in the show notes. So be forewarned, we are now in a spoiler section for it. So let's go back to some of the more shocking or gruesome moments, because to me that was like some of the biggest surprises in this movie is how dark they went with it. It starts right off the bat with the kid, the little brother, Georgie.
He gets his fucking arm eaten off.
Yeah, so you see that in the trailer. You see the scene with him floating the boat, and then it goes into the storm drain, and Pennywise gets it. And you know that something bad probably happens to him. But I couldn't have imagined that they were going to show the kid's arm being bitten off and him trying to crawl across the street with a missing arm.
Yeah.
That was so shocking to me. I was like, holy shit. I can't believe they just showed that.
But again, I don't understand. Is that his fear? That his arm would get bitten off? Or was his fear like this is the thing about Pennywise in this movie. It doesn't really like the logistics of the whole Pennywise thing doesn't make a lot of sense to me because like he feeds on their fear and
Well,
everything.
maybe his fear was disappointing his brother. Maybe that's why, because Pennywise didn't show up until the boat fell into the grate, and he goes, "Oh, he's gonna kill me." So maybe
Yeah,
that was his fear that caused Pennywise to pop up.
I guess so. I
I mean,
guess so.
it's pretty loosey goosey with the fear thing, but when you're dealing with these kind of like supernatural entities, I don't think it really matters as far as logic goes.
Yeah.
What were some of the other things that you
Oh shit!
found?
When Beverly fucking comes in with the spear, just straight through his face,
Yeah.
just straight through his face.
So
God damn, that was pretty
Beverly's
great.
Beverly's fear is her father, who is sexually abusing her, which was another
Yeah,
pretty big shocker.
and that one was kind of because I don't know they didn't like come out, so I don't know if he
How
actually
far it
did
went?
or if he's
Yeah.
like he's this is that's a creepy situation though.
Well, he
Because
did. What makes me think that at least something must have happened. She was wary of him, like from the moment that he was introduced, and then
true,
on top of that, right before she bashes him, he says like, or I think she kicks him in the balls. He says like, "Do your friends know that or something like that?" And then she kicks him in the balls and then runs.
yeah,
So I think something happened there.
yeah,
The extent of what, I don't know. I don't think it matters too much either way. It's horrible, whatever it was.
yeah. That was something that kind of surprised me too. It's like I said, it's like man, her situation is a lot like. And I guess that plays into why she's not really terrified of this dumbass clown because she's got bigger shit to worry about
Yeah, but when he
than some
turned
big
into
four-headed clown around.
the father, I thought that was pretty crazy, that effect when his face turned. And then one
Oh,
of
yeah, yeah. But that's
the
what I didn't quite understand because she's not afraid, but Pennywise still gets her.
well, because he knows what her fear is. Like
Yeah,
he
but she's not
can.
afraid of it.
Well, she must have some sort of. She is afraid of her father.
Yeah, but she fucking wrecked him.
Yeah, but I guess she
Beat his
still.
ass.
I guess she still holds some semblance of fear there. I mean, ultimately, we know she conquers it anyway because if she didn't, she'd be dead. They all
Yeah,
conquer their fear.
true. But I don't know about Richie. I don't know if he conquered his fear because his fear was clown, and I have a feeling that he's probably worse off than he was to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Well, that's. I think that's where the chapter 2 is going to play into it because
He's gonna be terrified of clowns.
in the mini series, the mini series is like 4 hours long, and half of it is when they're kids in the '60s, and then the other half is 30 years later when they're adults, and it comes
Okay,
back. So,
gotcha. Oh,
so yeah,
spoiler alert! They didn't defeat him.
now
They didn't defeat the
he comes
clown.
back. He comes back.
Man.
Although
And
there were a lot of key differences between this and the miniseries. There were a lot of like the kind of scare moments were tweaked, and they were different. It was definitely, it feels fresh. It doesn't feel like a retread of the miniseries.
okay, all right.
The other thing that kind of surprised me was the whole bolt gun thing. Everything with the bolt gun, from the time that we see the sheep getting the bolt gun in the head
Yeah, I don't
to
like man.
freaking Georgie getting the bolt gun in the head. I was like, holy shit. It's bad enough this kid got his arm bitten off, and now he gets a freaking bolt gun right into the face.
Yeah,
And we
yeah, I don't
knew,
like
I mean,
bolt guns, man.
we were all pretty sure that it wasn't really him, that it was Pennywise, but
Yeah, there was a
it,
for like a split second. I was thinking like, are they gonna go super dark? And it wasn't actually Pennywise, and he just fucking bolt gunned his brother.
yeah, I thought that too, because there was no indication that he stayed as Georgie all the way until the end. But then you see that awesome transformation when he turns into Pennywise that
Yeah,
looked really cool and intensely creepy.
And I do love. I mean, I did enjoy that it just turns into these kids just beating the shit out of the
Yeah,
clown.
that's what I was saying earlier about how I liked how it ended is that they just fucking wrecked him. They just it reminded me of the scene at the end of Death Proof when they're beating the shit out of Kurt Russell, and it was just like over and over. They were just tag teaming, beating the fuck out of this clown.
Just yeah. The the main thing that got me was what was it, Henry, when Henry kills his dad,
Yeah,
because I didn't think they were gonna go there.
I didn't
I
either.
didn't think they were gonna get that gruesome.
And then
But
they kill Henry, which was also
yeah,
like that was kind of shocking to me too. Like that kid killed that other kid.
yeah,
Like,
and it affected none of them. They're
yeah.
just like, oh,
Well, they had bigger shit to worry about. I mean,
good
it's
job, Mike.
yeah, it's probably going to affect them
That's what I mean.
emotionally,
Like,
but it's like you have to prioritize your trauma, like what's going to affect them more? The fact that this asshole that literally carved one of them up just fell down a well and probably died, or the fact that a demon clown has been feeding off of their fear for however many weeks.
yeah, which it also makes me. One of these kids isn't making it 27 years. There's no way.
I can't remember in
One
the
of
other.
them's got to become a drug addict.
I can't. Yeah, I can't remember in the miniseries if they all make it. I know that they get that some of them are fucked up from it,
I would
and
imagine.
that was like one of the interesting things about the show was to see how this event and this one summer like completely changed their lives.
Yeah, because I mean, I think at that point, from there forward, um, like you had to deal with the demon clown. I think like trying to deal with real life
Yeah,
or just like normal everyday to day type things would
yeah,
be really difficult.
yeah, or easy. After you do that, maybe everything seems trivial.
But I mean, just like if someone critiqued me at work, I would fucking lose my shit and be like, "I killed a demon clown, motherfucker,"
Yeah,
and then just like storm off. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I wouldn't make it through school because I would be
no,
bringing up the demon clown like 24/7.
you'd probably be committed
Yeah, more than likely.
because everybody just think you're crazy.
Yeah, because I'd be talking about a demon clown all the time.
Uh, any other spoiler items?
Mm,
Getting back to the slideshow, just the when Pennywise came out of the screen, it just
he was a
that was
giant.
it was so
I
awesome.
didn't know he could be a giant. I thought he was just a regular clown.
He can transform into whatever he wants. Oh,
You think he would do that more often then?
I thought that and I'm so glad that they didn't show any of this in the trailer, was that I thought one of the creepiest things was that painting and that character with the twisted face and the flute thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and how it was like when it
Sucking
yeah,
his face off?
yeah,
Yeah.
when it grabbed him and you just see its entire mouth over his whole face. Sucks for that dude.
Which kind of, I mean, that one's kind of weird too. Like, kids afraid of a painting?
It's a creepy ass painting, man.
I know, but,
I've had some creepy ass paintings in my house when growing up, and
well, we all know the thing in your house that's the creepiest.
the doll thing or
Yeah,
the dressmaker thing.
yeah, doll dress.
Yeah.
The doll dress you would be haunted by a doll dress.
The best part was that we put that in the guest room. So
Yeah,
anytime,
thanks a lot. That was nice.
anytime like you'd spend the night at this.
It just stared at you. Made no sense.
Love it. Love it. Any other spoilers for it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else either. So we are back. We're out of the spoiler section now. I would definitely recommend checking out in the theater if you can, because it's definitely worth a look.
I would agree that it's worth a look.
Okay.
I'd give it that. I'd recommend.
All right, let's move on. Talk a little bit about what we've been watching. We didn't do a watch list last week because we did all the Toby Hooper stuff. I haven't watched a whole lot since then. One that I'll mention, I saw Goon: Last of the Enforcers.
Okay.
I was pretty excited for this one because I was a really big fan of the first Goon movie. It was a surprise because this is one that when it came out, I think it was I want to say it was a straight to DVD thing, and the cover didn't look great, and I just didn't have very high expectations for it. But I'm a fan of I like sports comedies, and there aren't too many hockey movies out there, and other than Slapshot, of course,
Yeah.
which is definitely this had to have take some sort of inspiration from Slapshot. But so anyway, I was really excited when the sequel was announced. This is the directorial debut of Jay Baruchel, and it's all right. It's not nearly as good as the first one. This one is pretty much what I expected the first one to be, if that makes sense. Like, it's a much more straightforward comedy. Still made me laugh a lot. I think that Sean William Scott's character is really funny, and that really worked for me. It's brutally violent, just like the first one. Maybe more so. But there's some really just brutal, bloody fights in this, which are pretty fun. So if you liked the first Goon, maybe give this one a look. It's out on VOD now, so you can check it out. Goon: Last of the Enforcers.
I saw Logan Lucky.
Lucky
For
Logan?
the longest time. No, it's called Logan Lucky.
I know.
But all this time, I thought it was called Lucky Logan until I saw the poster. The best part is my immediate thought was, oh, when did they change the title? I was so invested in it being called Lucky Logan that I figured that they probably had to change the title of it on all the posters, months after all the. But no, it's been called Logan Lucky the entire time, apparently. This is pretty good.
I haven't seen this yet, but I do want to. I do want to see it.
I mean, it's Steven Soderbergh. Going into it, you kind of know what to expect, and it pretty much played out the way I expected it to. Which is not to say that it's not a fun time. I enjoyed myself, but it was just kind of like, even at one point in the movie, they're calling it Ocean 7-Eleven because it's like the Ocean 11 movie.
Yeah, I get it, but like NASCAR themed.
Yeah, but it's Ocean's 11. It's kind of like him doing a rehash for some reason.
You know what? I'm perfectly fine with that because I liked I liked all the Ocean's movies, so I'm
what I mean.
Cool with it.
It still works for me for the most part. I still enjoyed myself. Seth MacFarlane's character was a bit ridiculous, really annoying. I mean, he gets beat up the first time, which you're like, great, that's awesome, because his character's just fucking annoying as all hell. And then the second time, they don't show it though. So I could have used like a second helping of Seth MacFarlane getting punched in the face. It doesn't give it to me. It only gave me the first time, which was kind of disappointing. But okay. I mean, if you enjoyed those movies, you more than likely enjoy yourself with Logan Lucky.
Glowing praise from Kevin on Logan Lucky. I saw I guess it's sort of a horror film, maybe more of like a coming of age thriller called Kill Me Please. It's a Brazilian film, just directed by Anita Roca de Silveira. This was kind of an interesting one. It's more coming of age than thriller. Basically, it's about this group of girls, I think they're like 15-ish, growing up in this sort of affluent area of Rio de Janeiro, and there's a serial killer on the loose, and he is abducting and murdering young women, little like roughly around their age. So basically, it's them just kind of going through their school life. So they're dealing with boys and drama and school stuff and parties and all of this, normal adolescent stuff, but they're slowly being affected by the fact that there is a killer on the loose, and they become fascinated with it. So they're like, when a new victim is found, they like kind of check this person's social media, and they're trying to figure out, who this person was, the victim. And so it's kind of an interesting. It's kind of an interesting movie. I have a full review for this up on the site. It I feel like it doesn't go far enough into the horror thriller territory because although it seems like they're slightly interested in it, it doesn't seem to. It affects like the main character more, but I feel like it should. They need to go a little bit further with it. You always feel very disconnected from the murders taking place, other than towards the end of the movie they show like it's like a still collage of all the victims, like photographs of all the victims. You feel pretty disconnected from that aspect of it. So more often than not, it just feels like your pretty standard coming of age story.
Mhm.
And it's a mediocre coming of age story at that. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. I would recommend it. It's playing in limited release right now. It's called Kill Me Please.
Okay. I watched Fugue from Jorge Torres. This is on No Budge, so you can see this sucker for free. Relatively short, 73 minutes long, so gets in, gets out. So what it is there's a young woman. She's on a island, and you're not really sure what she's doing there, right? And she's kind of homeless. Well, she's not kind of homeless. She's just straight up homeless. Let me edit that. And she's just kind of like wandering around. She has what you come to find out is she doesn't know how she got there, and she doesn't know who she is. She has no recollection whatsoever. She's just kind of wandering about on the island, right? Finding food, foraging, trying to be like the wild horses. And so as the movie goes on, you kind of uncovers why she's there and what's going on and everything. When I think it's like her boyfriend shows up, kind of goes into she's kind of in like a fugue state. So everything up until that point is fantastic. Great cinematography, the whole structure, the way it's really minimalist in the way that it kind of goes about what's going on. The only thing that it kind of falters a little bit is when the boyfriend shows up and they start kind of slowly uncovering, like teasing out bits and pieces of what happened in the past and why she ended up there and how she was the reason that she was so deeply affected and all that. It does an okay job of squeezing that information out bit by bit, but as more of that information comes out, it kind of loses its impact because the reasoning is a bit iffy for me anyways. But overall, it's like a light recommend. I mean, it's 73 minutes, pretty solid film. It's just when they get when you unmask the mystery, it just kind of falls a little bit flat.
All right. And that's Fugue, available for free on nobudge.com. I saw Death Note.
Okay.
Yeah, this is on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you can take a look at this one. Directed by Adam Wingard. Now, I was a big fan of the original anime series. I'm not a huge anime person, but Death Note, when I started watching Death Note when they were in the second season of it, and I just devoured the whole first season. And then fortunately at the time there were like certain sites that would do simulcasts, so I was just a huge fan of Death Note right from the get-go. And I even sort of liked the live action Japanese versions. However, this one is not very good. I felt like they just didn't have enough time to condense everything that happens in Death Note into one movie. They had to truncate a lot of the stuff, and I feel like they ended up omitting a lot of the aspects of the story that made it so interesting and unique. The broad strokes are still there. I mean, it's like about a kid, a high schooler, who gets this book that basically whoever's name you write in the book, they die. And the book was originally owned by this demon, and the demon sort of follows the kid around as he writes names in this book. And the other part of it is that there's this genius young detective who starts to figure out who it is and starts to come after him. In this movie, he's played by Lakeith Stanfield. So
Nice.
he's awesome in it. He is really awesome in it. And he nails the character. And Willem Dafoe plays the demon, which is funny because when the show was on, I always said that I thought that the character looked like Willem Dafoe, the animated character. So that was a perfect casting choice. But it was just too much was crammed in. They changed the story a lot. I mean, the story is, this version is wildly different than the original anime or the manga or even the Japanese live action movie. So if you're a fan of Death Note, just know that this is a completely different take on the story, and it's not nearly as good. So Death Note, I'd probably just say don't bother with that. I believe that it is the series, I think, is on Netflix. So I would say just watch that, because that is so much better. The cat and mouse between the two characters, Light and L, is so much better when they have time to actually develop that.
Yeah.
Because that was, for me, one of the favorite aspects of the show.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Anyway, that's Death Note.
All right. A part of me just wants to talk about spontaneous combustion again.
Yes.
The movie's fucking great. Love it. I just did a bunch of rewatches, actually, which I haven't done in quite some time, but I saw Jaws again. It's become a yearly thing, watching that Jaws.
I think everybody should watch Jaws every year.
It's on Netflix Instant, by the way, if you want to check out some Jaws. Straw Dogs from Peckinpah, rewatch that one. And Mad Max Fury Road, rewatch that one.
Everything holds
up?
Solid.
All three of them, solid. Solid films. Spontaneous Combustion, too. Great film. That's all I got.
Let's see. I saw Little Evil, which is another Netflix movie. This is a comedy. It's a horror comedy with Adam Scott.
Awful.
Yeah, Adam Scott and Evangeline Lilly. Basically, it's sort of like an Omen type.
Yeah, that was
parody.
my guess.
Yeah, this is not good. I don't have much to say about it. There's a lot of good people in it, but yeah. This is I would probably avoid this. It's worth a couple laughs. Like there's some funny stuff in it. It starts off really good, but where it goes, it tries to get sentimental, and that does not work. As soon as it starts to get sentimental, everything falls apart, and you're just like, oh god, no. This is not going well. But everything up until that point is really enjoyable. Like just seeing Adam Scott react to his new stepson being the Antichrist, it's pretty funny. But
he's good at reacting.
Yeah,
that's his strong suit.
Yeah, he's like Jason Bateman in that regard. So yeah, that's not very good. And I also saw David Lynch, The Art Life. I always want to say The Art of Life for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. This is a documentary that came out last year. It's made by the same guys that there was another documentary that came out in, I think, 2007, just called Lynch. And this is kind of their follow-up to that.
They're obsessed with Lynch, huh?
Yeah.
Fucking move on.
This one's interesting because the first one really didn't have a lot of substance to it. This one, they got him to open up a little bit more. So he talks, this is almost exclusively about his personal life. So it's all about his upbringing, and it basically chronicles his entire life up until he makes Eraserhead. So they very consciously didn't want to get into his movies because they know that he doesn't talk about his movies at all. So they went all the way up until Eraserhead, and then that's pretty much it. So there's some interesting stuff in there. It talks about how, like, his influences and his parents and where he lived and where he went to school and all of that stuff. So there's kind of some interesting anecdotal stuff in there, but it was all right. I mean, I love David Lynch, but this just I don't know. It was okay,
Yeah.
but it wasn't anything mind blowing. The film itself looked awesome. It was shot on a 5D and an iPhone, but man, they really made it work because it looked really cool. There's a lot of really great imagery in it.
Huh.
And they don't there's no like they didn't interview, it's just Lynch. That's it. Like so it's the way they designed it, they just have David Lynch talking and they use his art and they use photographs that he provided them. He gave them access to all of his photographs, but there were certain ones that he liked particularly, and so they tried to use that stuff in there. So it's pretty much just like pure David Lynch stuff, and it's okay. It's okay. It's worth a look if you're a fan and you want to dive a little bit deeper into the mind of David Lynch. Just don't expect any kind of like big revelations or anything. All right, let's move on. Talk about some release dates in theaters this week. We have American Assassin.
Ooh, that movie looks terrible.
Yeah, I'm not into this one at all. Michael Keaton better be careful because he's riding high on his comeback right now. But all he needs, because his comeback is still relatively new. You know, remember when Mickey Rourke had his comeback with The Wrestler? And he made a couple good movies after The Wrestler, though. There were a couple in there, but then after that, bad decisions just brought him right back down. So Michael Keaton, be careful, bro. I don't want you to fade into obscurity again.
I think he can handle himself a little bit better.
I think so too, but we'll see. We also have Mother. This is the new Darren Aronofsky. You excited for this one?
Wait, this comes out? Or is that a limited thing?
It might be
limited.
It might be limited.
I was about to say, there's no way I'm getting Mother next weekend.
It could be limited. I don't know.
It's gotta be. Maybe not.
Let's see. It says wide on Rotten Tomatoes, so I take it you're excited for this one.
Not really.
I am.
I don't like Jennifer Lawrence.
I do. Now I'm all about me some Mother. So you're gonna let your distaste for Jennifer Lawrence?
Well, she shoulders the whole thing, doesn't she?
I would think so. Yeah. You know who else is in it?
Yeah.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Oh God.
Your boy Domhnall.
Serious? I don't know. I mean, I'll see it, but I'm not rushing. I can tell you that. I'm not rushing out to see this.
When you saw it today, did it have a trailer for Mother before it?
No, it didn't. No, I had a trailer for there's no goddamn Insidious movie. Give me a break.
Really?
Yeah. There's another Saw movie apparently. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That one I was aware of.
So what's that? Saw 37, Insidious 9. Fucking ridiculous.
I think it's the 7th Saw movie.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It's too many. That's all I know.
I like all the Saw movies, so I'm okay with the new one. It looks interesting. This is a great year. It's shaping up to be a solid year for horror. I think it has a slow start, but I heard that the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is good.
Yeah, there's a trailer for that one too.
I heard that one is like the best one since part 1, so like the original one. So I'm hoping that's true. I'm excited for the new Chucky movie because I'm a big Child's Play fan. Anyway, yeah, we got Mother, we got Brad's Status.
Mike White.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested only because it's Mike White and he wrote it and directed it.
Yeah,
but the trailers, man, are not doing it for me on this movie because it just seems like it's so obvious. It just seems like such an obvious movie.
It's one of those that you can kind of go in expecting.
You
already saw it.
Yeah,
you don't have to go see it.
He feels bad because the people he went to college with are more successful than him and have more money, but then he realizes he has a family, so he's actually the winner.
He's actually the richest out of all of them.
Yeah,
except that he's not because he's got a shit ton of responsibility and doesn't get to do anything fun.
Exactly.
Nice try. And having kids. Stop with that bullshit. Trying to peddle that bullshit. Having kids. Come on now.
Maybe it won't be that. I don't know. Mike White
I,
always has a little bit of a dark streak in his movies, so maybe it'll be something else going on. Let's see what else we have here. Rat Film. This is a documentary about Baltimore and rats. Rats in Baltimore.
waiting for this one.
What's that?
Waiting for this one.
It looks pretty interesting. We will have a review up very shortly. It's been submitted. Got to edit it. Chris is reviewing this for us, and he didn't like it. A little bit of a spoiler.
What?
I'm interested in it. I'll be checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
We got Manolo, the boy who made shoes for lizards.
What?
It's a documentary. We got Wetlands, and we got Tennessee Whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
It's about I can't remember his name right now, but it's the guy that sings that song.
What, Tennessee Whiskey?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I hate that song, though. I'm sorry. I can't stand that song. It's the worst. There's a Nicolas Cage movie called Vengeance, a love story.
Ooh. Throws you. Because you think it's about vengeance, but it's actually a love story.
Yeah. There's a movie called In Search of Fellini. We got Strong Island. I think that's going to be on Netflix. We got The Force. That's a documentary about police officers.
Okay.
A movie called Infinity Chamber that I never heard of.
Probably for good reason.
Yeah, maybe. Could be. That's pretty much it in theaters. VOD next week this week we have Clowntergeist coming out on Tuesday. Clowntergeist. So this week we have it, the big one, and then we have Circus Kane, which also came out. We have a review for that up on the site. And then coming up we have Clowntergeist. We also have The Confessions. We have Dead Again in Tombstone. We got Cupid's Proxy. That one, I saw a trailer for that one. Holy shit, you have to see a trailer for that. It looks it looks so painful. It's called Cupid's Proxy.
Okay.
The trailer's up on the on our calendar, so you can take a look. Then on the 19th, we have Tennessee Whiskey and Second Nature. Second Nature? What the hell's... Oh, that's the one... that's the comedy, the romantic comedy where a woman uses a magic mirror to reverse the gender roles in her small town. Yeah.
All right.
So sounds fun. Sounds like a romp.
Love me a good romp.
Blu-ray this week. Keep saying next week. We got 4K release VT. We got It Comes at Night, which I noticed they changed the cover of. If you remember, the original Blu-ray cover of It Comes at Night was just Joel Edgerton. It was just the white people in that movie. And it was just like, what the fuck is going on here? What are they thinking?
Are you serious?
Yeah, but then they changed it so that it actually has his actual family on there now. We have The Mummy. This is the Tom Cruise one that I heard. It's supposed to be really, really awful. We have Captain Underpants. We have Phenomena from 1985. This is the Dario Argento one that I would highly recommend checking out because it's ridiculous and amazing. We have Eric the Conqueror from 1961. Arrow's putting that one out.
Okay.
Let's see what else we have here. Get Out is getting a 4K release.
Yeah.
Fun Mom Dinner. That's coming out. Major League from 1989 getting a Blu-ray release.
Hell yeah.
Man, I could totally rewatch Major League right now. And Major League 2. Let's see. The Reagan Show. That's the documentary that's getting a Blu-ray release. I was kind of interested in that. That's pretty much it. Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 is getting a Blu-ray combo pack. It's like a double feature thing. I don't know why they always re-release the Evil Dead movies, but they're always like such bad releases. I wish that somebody with like Scream Factory or Arrow or one of these big purveyors of physical media would come out with like a special edition of these movies and just have all the bonus features and just be like one ultimate edition, because they just keep re-releasing these and they're always underwhelming, except the Book of the Dead editions, which I still own, but that was DVD. Hot Rod's getting a Blu-ray release from 2007, a little bit of a cult classic, that one.
I've always caught like parts of this on TV. and I enjoyed it. You know, what I have seen of it, but for some reason, I just haven't gotten around to actually watching it.
Yeah, definitely a cult classic on that one. And then Arrow is also releasing The Ghoul from last year. Any Criterions this week?
There's one. We have Festival from Murray Lerner. This is the old Newport Folk Festival documentary. So if you're a big fan of the Newport Folk Festival, I have a feeling this is the definitive documentary.
All right.
That's my guess. It can't be too many Newport Folk Festival documentaries covering 63 to 66. Pretty sure this is probably the only one.
Yeah. All right, I think that's going to do it this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.